Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearances of the Week. This is Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. We'll be giving you all the first appearances in your comic shops today. Now this week we have another light week for you guys. I think we only have 9 titles to go through, but 6 of those are first appearances and only 3 honorable mentions. So definitely some books in there you want to pick up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearances of the week ending June 24th, 2022. First up from DC Comics, Batman Superman World's Finest number 4. This features the first appearance of a Batman-Superman mashup character referred to as new by artist Dan Mora. Now, you typically never get the artist himself stating whether or not they're drawing a new character or an established character, so the fact that artist Dan Mora actually said this is a new character being introduced, this is one you probably want to pick up for your collection. You know, Batman and Superman, 2 of the strongest, most popular, most heavily collected of the DC characters, of the DC superheroes. So if this is a new mashup of those 2 characters, this is one you do want to pick up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. Next up from DC Comics, Black Adam number 1. This features the first appearance of Bolt, a successor who receives Black Adam's powers. Now, Black Adam, this character has received renewed interest, of course, due to the Black Adam movie being released here in a few months in October of this year, featuring Dwayne Johnson. So the Black Adam character has had a lot of attention lately, and this is the premiere issue of this title. This is also the first appearance of Bolt. So in our opinion, this is one you probably want to pick up. This is definitely going to be a little bit more of a speculative bet because you really don't know what DC is going to do with this particular character. But in our opinion, for $3 or $4 worth specking on, go ahead and pick this one up. Next up from DC Comics, Catwoman number 44. Now this features the first full appearance of Red Claw in the mainstream DC universe. Red Claw did have a final page appearance in issue number 43 and also appeared in DC animated series Gotham Adventures number 3. Since this is not the first overall appearance of Red Claw in comics, this is actually the first full appearance in the mainstream DC universe. This one here may not be as important. You know, typically it's the overall first appearance in comics that draws the most attention. But sometimes, you know, the first appearance in continuity, or in this particular instance, the first appearance in mainstream DC universe, this may be important, but this is also a Catwoman title, not one of the most popular or heavily collected of the DC franchises. So it really depends on what they do with Red Claw. If they take this character across other title series, introduce him into a small screen, big screen project, it'll definitely be more important. This is definitely more of a speculative bet if you choose to pick it up. Maybe worth specking on, but we do think you have some time on this one. Grab it if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list. Take a look at it later on. Next up from DC Comics, Duo number 2. This features the first team appearance of the Immutables. Now, once again, Duo is not one of DC's strongest, most popular, or most heavily collected title series, and this is the first team appearance of the Immutables within this title series, so we really don't know how important this team is going to be going forward, especially in the long term. It really depends on what DC does with this particular team, these characters. So this one here is definitely more of a speculative bet as well. It may be worth picking up for the cover price, but we do think you have some time on this one. Go ahead and put this one in your B-list for now, but keep an eye on it. Next up from Marvel Comics, Marvel's Voices Pride number 1. This features the first appearance of Escapade. Now this is an anthology of stories celebrating Marvel's LGBTQ community. Now these annual Pride issues that Marvel puts out do typically feature a first appearance of new characters. It really depends on what Marvel does with these characters in the Marvel Universe. If they bring them across other title series, introduce them into a streaming series, TV show, or feature film, they're definitely going to be more important in the long run. So this one here, Escapade, we really don't know what Marvel has planned for this character. This might be a character they just introduce in this particular issue and goes nowhere. So this is definitely going to be a little bit more of a speculative bet as well. We typically do say pick up any first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles. But this one here, like we said, a little bit more speculative. So pick this one up if you like to spec on it. Otherwise, put it on your B-list, take a look at it later on. And finally for Marvel Comics, Punisher War Journal Blitz number 1. This features the first appearance of a new hate monger. Now, the Punisher standalone title series, hugely popular, huge collector base, huge fan base for that particular title series. This, of course, is kind of a sub-series, Punisher War Journal. So this one here, we don't really know how important this particular series will be going forward. They do introduce a new character, Hate Monger. So if they bring this character into the standalone Punisher series or across any streaming series, TV show, or feature film, this character will definitely have a little bit more clout going forward. So this one here does lean a little bit more to a speculative bet, but like we always say, this is the first appearance of a new character in a Marvel title. It's probably worth picking up the spec on for a couple bucks. Go ahead and grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list, but take a look at it later on. And now for the honorable mentions. From Image Comics, Beware the Eye of Odin. When a Viking prince finds the Eye of Odin, he must return it to its rightful owner or face death. Now, the biggest price driver for these small press or indie titles is whether or not they are optioned for a small screen or big screen project, and of course, how successful that project is. Image Comics has had a lot of their titles optioned in the past for projects, and a lot of those books became heavily collected later on, and the price jumped on those. So in our opinion, it's worth speccing on these Image titles, because if they are picked up, they become big, you're sitting on a winner for a couple dollars. And this one here does sound like it could lend itself to a small screen or big screen project. So this one here, definitely worth speccing on. Pick it up if you can. If you can't, put it on your B-list, but keep an eye on it. Next up from Dark Horse Comics, Lonesome Hunters #1. An aged monster hunter and a young girl set out on a road trip to battle ancient evils in a story that explores how early traumas can haunt us even in old age. Now this one here sounds very similar to The Last of Us, and you know that franchise, hugely popular, hugely successful, huge collector base for that franchise, and this one here sounds very similar. Dark Horse has had a lot of their titles picked up in the past for small screen and big screen projects, and we think this one here sounds like it can lend itself very well to one of those projects. So in our opinion, this one here is worth speccing on for the cover price. Go ahead and grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list, but definitely keep an eye on this one. And finally from Dynamite Comics, Samurai Sonya #1. This is a reimagining of Red Sonja that takes place in the Sengoku period of Japan. Now this sounds very interesting, the reimagining of Red Sonja in Sengoku, Japan. But you know, Dynamite Comics is not known for having a lot of their titles stand up over time and hold up in price over time. So this one here is definitely going to be speculative if you choose to pick it up. Like I said, Dynamite not known for retaining value. But maybe we're specking on for the cover price. We do think you probably have some time on this one though. Put this one here in your B-list, but keep an eye on it. So there you have the 9 titles that we have for you guys this week. 6 first appearances and 3 honorable mentions. Definitely a couple books in there you want to pick up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.